Wax's podcast, talking mad shit about uninteresting facts. Wax's podcast, listen every Wednesday. Did I skip something? Did I skip part of it? I don't know. Did I skip a part of the fucking intro? I'm out here in my new studio in the goddamn garage of my house. Studio B. First time. There's a first time for everything, and let me tell you something. There's a first time for something today. Today is the first time that I'm recording my podcast from Studio B. As I've told you on the podcast before, Studio A is where me and David Nathan remade our master bedroom into a musician's studio room. Lo and behold, musician studio room is a busy place. So we decided to take our talents to an additional area of our abode. That area being the garage, and now Studio B has a fucking computer, fucking a piano, keyboards, percussion. It's got a stand-up comedy stage, bass guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, various things, headphones that are on my fucking head right now. It's got a couch, it's got a rug. It looks amazing in here. It's even got an elliptical machine in here in case you want to get your cardio on while you're working on your music or your comedy or whatever it is you work on here in this creative space. Here in our new creative space here in Sherman Oaks, California. Brand new creative space. But you know what I didn't have here on my hard drive? I'm sure if I had looked for it maybe more hard, if I had searched my hard drive harder, but I hardly felt like doing that because I'm having a hard time giving a fuck. So you can suck my hard dick. So you can, yeah. I didn't feel like looking for the jingle. So you know what? I did what musicians do. I did it my fucking self. I picked up my acoustic guitar and went, gave myself a little vocal warm-up like that. When I say vocal warm-up, I meant I cleared my throat. I got a couple loogies out, spit them to the side on my intern. Yeah, that's right. I have a new intern that I keep chained up in Studio B. He doesn't do anything. He's just some guy I found on the street. He was passed out. He was drunk. He was passed out. He was right next to a dumpster, and he woke up, and he was in my fucking studio, handcuffed to the elliptical machine, which is bolted to the ground. He's like, what am I doing here? I'm scared. I was like, you're my fucking intern now, Steve. He's like, my name's Jeff. I said, Steve. And he just sits there, and he struggles. And as he struggles, I say, shut up, Steve. He says, my name... And I just spit on him every once in a while. Every time before I do my vocal takes, I'm like, I got a little something. Take that, Steve. I think he's probably going to die soon. I don't feed him. Steve the intern. Soon to be Steve the carcass that's tied to it's handcuffed to my elliptical machine. My imagination's working hard today. Probably because, man, the way that life works, fellas and ladies, the way that life works. I swear to God, last year at the end of the year, December, November, I felt like a lazy piece of dog dung. I felt like a worthless pile of cow duty. I felt like an idiotic, rejected piece of cat vomit or whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter how you word it. I don't know how those things feel. Those things that I mentioned don't even have emotions. But I felt lazy. I felt like I didn't have anything going on. And I can't even begin to explain to all of you how opposite of that I feel now. I got a lot of stuff I'm working on, y'all. I'm working on a tour, which means I got to find I've been doing I found some people to staff the tour. Still need one person. Still need a tour manager. Matter of fact, you know any? Hit me up. Hit me up. Let me know if you know any tour managers. And I don't mean like, don't be like, my fucking brother Jeff drove a truck once. Your brother Jeff's an idiot. Your brother Jeff is my intern. He's dying. Yeah, so I because I'm doing this tour, there's a lot of there's paperwork stuff to do. Got to find the staff. There's financial things to think about. Got my booking agent. Talking to Mac Lethal. Man, Mac Lethal is a really cool dude, y'all. Never actually met him in person, but we've been talking and trying to work this shit out for our tour. Really cool dude. Very, very musically knowledgeable. Good taste in music. So it's a big deal, man. When you go on tour with somebody, you want them to have a good taste in music. I was lucky enough that most of my tours I'm with you're with musicians, so they usually have good taste in music, but somebody who has an amazing knowledge of music is Term K from the Palmer Squares, who I went my last tour, which was over a year ago now. He's a fucking encyclopedia of movie and music knowledge. He consumes a lot of entertainment. He consumes a lot of art. And I appreciated it. I learned a lot. You learn a lot from people that you go on tour with. You learn how to behave. You learn how not to behave. You learn what traits you like in people, what traits you don't like in people. But right now we got most of our shit together for the tour. But it's not easy. Because at the same time I'm doing various collaboration projects. One of which I worked on last night. Another which I'm going to work on today. These are not projects for my album that I'm fucking desperately trying to finish. I want to use all my time to finish my album that I have to finish before I go on this tour. But no. Everybody wants Old Wax to do something for them, which is fine. Especially in certain cases. Especially in the case of my man, Lack of Afro, a.k.a. Adam Gibbons. I guess the a.k.a. should have been the other way around, but got to finish a song for him today or the next day, sometime soon to get it to him. And he's done so much to help me that, plus, shit, it's fun. His music is dope. But I just got to get it done. That's what sucks is when you do what you love, but then if you do what you love as a job, all the stuff that you love to do inherently becomes part of a to-do list. And if you're like me, like, I don't give a fuck my to-do list could be like, get jerked off by the most beautiful woman in the world. I'd be like, damn, it's on a to-do list. I got to do that. Like if it's on a to-do list, it doesn't seem cool to me. If I got to get it done by Tuesday, I don't want to do it. There's certain things that are just built into me like that. And that's laziness. Another thing that's built into me, by the way, I think that my dad gave me this, is if you serve me anything, I will eat anything if you serve it to me as a free sample. I might have mentioned that on the podcast before. I just think that's kind of funny. You could, if you had a piece of dog shit, I'd think it was really gross. If you had a little piece of dog shit on the end of the toothpick and said, and we're in a food court at the mall, I'd be like, yeah, sure, let me try it. If it's free, I'll eat it. Shit, back in the day when malls were more busy and everybody was standing outside their restaurant, if you would call it a restaurant, their stand at the food court, almost every single one. There's Chick-fil-A, then there's the Chinese place, then there's the Cajun place, then there's the Mongolian beef, whatever. Every single one of them slanging free samples. I'll fuck around, get one from each, say, that was a good lunch. Anyway. Your to-do list fills up. And for me, like for example, with this song that I got to get done, I've spent a good amount of time working on it, but I've spent way more time thinking about it, worrying about it, than I have working on it. This other project, Jesus, this other thing that I was doing that I kind of finished last night. We finished the first aspect of it last night. But the very first step was to get started. And it turned out that the first step that I had to do, which was writing this certain part of this song, it really only took me like 20 minutes to do. But before that 20 minutes occurred, the thing was on my to-do list for about a week and a half. And I spent at least 40 minutes every day in my head pondering, oh, fuck, I got to do that. So what's 40? It's at 10 days. 40 times 10, that's 400 minutes. 400 minutes. That's 6 hours and 40 minutes, right? No, did I do that right? What did I say? 400 minutes? Yeah. 6.66. Wow. First of all, look at how dope my math skills are. Second, look how satanic I am inherently. It took me 6.66 hours of worrying and fretting in the back of my mind to lead up to the 20 minutes of which was a fun 20 minutes of easily and joyfully writing this song. So yeah, so I just have this long list of shit to do, and this is all not including the fact that, you know, I fucking do my laundry. I go to the grocery store. I take out the trash. It's also not including the fact that I have a fucking album. I'm trying to finish my shit. I got verses to write. I'm thinking about my next shit. Doing too much is what I'm doing. But, lo and behold, alas, or whatever word like that you want to use, whatever old-timey phrase you want to preface this with, I've been realizing that when I'm too busy, I'm better off than being not busy enough. Idle time is a big enemy for me. I know that's an old statement. Idle time is the devil's workshop or whatever, but that's a big fucking truth for old wax. Yeah, I'm a lot better off when I'm busy. I feel good accomplishing stuff. It sucks when you accomplish stuff and it just feels like, you know, if your plate looks like the Thanksgiving plate of Andre the Giant, then you finish something, it looked like you plucked off 1/10 of the cranberry sauce. Then it's a little tough to feel accomplished. But it's kind of like being on a bicycle. You don't stop, you just keep going. You pass by a beautiful sight and you say, hey, look at that mountain with that sunshine behind it. Then you look forward to make sure you're not hitting a wall or a truck, and you keep on going. Then you look to the side again and you say, hey, look at that building with the beautiful mural on it. Then you say, that was nice. Whoa, hey, you got to swerve out of the way of that car. Then you look to the side again, you say, hey, what, you know? You just keep on going. That's not going to happen this summer, folks. I'm going to I'm going to go on a vacation this fucking summer, dude. I'm going to go on a goddamn vacation. We'll see. We'll see where it's going to be. All my life I've talked about going to Hawaii. I've talked about going to Hawaii so much that, like, I don't even want to go to Hawaii. Because when I go to Hawaii, I want it to be the best trip I've ever taken in my life. I want to be so overworked and feeling like I deserve a vacation that when I get there, it's just gonna feel. I just want it to feel like a week-long orgasm. A week-long orgasm of poi, spam, tiki torches, pina coladas, massages, people waving me, fanning me with those big-ass palm tree leaves. I want it to feel like that. Everything's overrated, dude. You know, like, it's so easy to sell a commercial. It's so easy to sell, like, Sandals Resort via a 30-second commercial. Or, like, the illest ones are, like, you know, like, in, like, Fiji and, like, Bora Bora. Maybe Bora Bora's in Fiji. I don't know. But, like, the middle of the Pacific Ocean or by the Philippines. I'm not exactly sure where this shit is. I don't... I don't know geographically where Bora Bora is, but I know Bora Bora is one of those places where like it's in the middle of like a calm part of the sea. And you can't really do this in the Caribbean because there's so many hurricanes, but it's like where they build those piers, and the hotel is just an elaborate system of piers that have like little huts on them, and that's your room. It's a hut on a pier that you step outside and you can just jump into the crystal blue water. And it looks amazing. To sell that for 30 seconds is fucking, it sells itself. Just get a fucking iPhone and take some pictures and videos. But it's like, you know, it's kind of like sex selling itself, you know. It's like after the orgasm, you're still looking at the boobs. You know, they don't look as appealing. You just start to look at them and be like, oh, this is like skin with stuff in it. It's like a sack of human fat cells with a nipple on it for babies to feed through. If you're you know, if you were one of the people that worked in the kitchen and had to and walked out on the pier every day to bring rich people their fucking bacon and eggs, you might not see it as beautiful if you see it every day. This is not rocket science that I'm preaching to you, folks. This is basic shit. I am not providing any insight. What else is going on, man? Pretty much completely out of the loop of politics at this point. I don't even look at Donald Trump news anymore, except for like subtle things when there's stuff on my Twitter. What else is going on? The Super Bowl happened. I watched the second half of it. I watched the halftime show. Didn't really have much opinion on it. I thought the halftime show was like kind of exactly what you would think. It wasn't exciting, but it wasn't like, you know, it's fucking Justin Timberlake. He did his hit songs and then he left. Did some choreography, stuff like that. Wasn't any guests. You would think that Justin Timberlake would at least have like Pharrell and Timberland or something on there. He did a song where Jay-Z was featured. No Jay-Z. Songs where Pharrell featured, Timberland featured. None of them came through. A little boring, but kind of expected. The game, on the other hand, which I pretty much don't ever watch football, but the game was a good game. In the fourth quarter, when it was a really, really close game, they showed this guy in the audience who's a 99-year-old man decked out in Philadelphia Eagles gear. And for you guys that are listening internationally or in America and don't give a shit about football or whatever, the Philadelphia Eagles were in the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. And they had never won a Super Bowl in the history of the NFL, and they're an old-school team. Fucking Philadelphia. Old-school city. One of America's oldest. And this 99-year-old guy, he's been a Philadelphia Eagles fan his whole life. They've never won a Super Bowl. He's on the sideline. It's fourth quarter. It's like a tie game pretty much. And as soon as they showed that, I was like, man, these motherfuckers are going to lose, because that's what life is. For most people, that's the accurate metaphor of life. You watch a movie and the good guy always wins. You watch a movie and the people fall in love and live happily ever after. You read a book and they used to end in happily ever after. But the real truth is you live your whole fucking life and the one thing you wanted to accomplish, you don't. We don't hear about those people. They don't write books about those they don't write books about the 99.9% of people who don't live their dream. Who do die with the regrets. Regrets rhymes with Tourette's. I saw Rude Jude post on Instagram a shirt that said, what do we want? A cure for Tourette's. When do we want it? Cunt. I thought that was funny. It looked funnier in text. So I thought, right, you know, with the attitude that I have toward life and just the way that I kind of view things. As soon as they showed that 99-year-old guy that had been rooting for the Eagles his whole life, probably at 99, dude. First of all, the fact that he made it to 99 is already defying the bullshit I'm talking about. Just to forget anything about your life at all. If you made it to 99, if 49 and a half was your midlife, that's pretty fucking good, man. That's pretty good. That's wild, man. You make it to 50 and you still got 50 left. Most people make it to 50, they're just like, man, I hope I get to fucking 60. 99. Damn, make it to 80, you live 19 more years. Must be wild, dude. I wonder what kind of stuff did he do in his 80s? If he's at 99 in his 80s, he's probably pretty well able-bodied and stuff. I wonder what kind of stuff he did in his 80s. All the bullshit I'm talking about, he's probably like the dude that defied all that. He probably climbed Mount Everest at 87. He probably built one of those Bora Bora resorts that I was talking about. He probably has a family in Hawaii that he supports financially. That have their own fucking spam restaurant in Oahu or whatever. I don't know, man. He's killing it. The reality is he probably lives in South Philly in some dumb apartment and just sits there watching ESPN all day. But they won. He'll probably die, like, whatever. I'm not going to say that, but it could very well be one of those things where, like, like say, for example, an old married couple, they make it to 85, 86, and one of them dies and the other one dies immediately afterwards because what else they got to live for? Maybe this guy was holding on for the Eagles, man. Holding on for Philly. I know a few people that are huge Philadelphia Eagles fans. I should have congratulated them. But I didn't. Why am I breathing so heavily? What else we got going on in the world? Man, I love this studio I got. Got some good songs coming up, Bitch ass acoustic album being worked on every day, diligently. And that's about it, man. Let's just get into some questions and shout-outs. All right. In my email, looking for the podcast emails. This is actually emails that I answered last week. Last week, that's how busy I've been. I just forgot to do my podcast. Like Friday morning, I was like, oh, fuck. I forgot to do my podcast. I even, like Monday or Tuesday or something, I actually went through all my emails, picked out a few to read, made a list of the shout-outs, and just fucking got so busy I forgot about it. And, even just now, when I went to my inbox to find these podcast emails, since I started the podcast, there's fucking 20 emails about all this shit going on in my life that I got to look at. I should be thankful for all of this. Thank you, Jesus, for providing me with all this work and shit. Thank you, Christ. Christ, if you're not the Christ, thank you, Buddha and Muhammad, for all of the work that you've been giving me recently. And I feel so blessed for whatever the Scientology God's name, if he's the right God. Thank you, everybody. Thank all gods for all the work that I have. Anyway, shout-outs. If you emailed me this week, I didn't fucking check it yet. So next week you will be maybe potentially on the podcast or being shouted out. beatsforwax@gmail.com. beatsforwax@gmail.com. If you want to email Wax's podcast. Because I started that email as a place to send me beats, and people still do send me beats. I think I'm now on a few people. It's interesting that people do this, but there's a few people that when they make a beat, they have like a mass email. Like, artists have email lists to tell you when they're coming to a fucking, to your town for a show or something like that. I need to use my email list more often. I'm on some email lists. Even I unsubscribe to email lists and they still send me shit every day. But I'm on some that use them too often. And I don't use mine enough. I pay for my fucking email list a lot. Those things are expensive. If you got a lot of people on your email list, they're expensive. And because I've been doing music for so goddamn long, built up some names. And, yeah. What the fuck am I talking about? I just totally, my brain just like flew. I could feel my brain just like picture like an old like Inspector Gadget episode or something, or Danger Mouse, or like one of those old school fucking cartoons where they, like a volcano would open up and then a helicopter would fly the villain out of it before it fucking self-destructed. That just happened to my brain. My head opened up like a fucking avocado. And the brain, which is like the pit of that avocado, had little propellers on it, like a little miniature helicopter, and it went just flew right up with whatever thought that I was about to say. And it keeps flying away even as I speak. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about right now, currently, at this moment. I'm completely in the moment right now. I'm completely zen, and in this moment, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Shout-outs. Nebulous from Philly. Jackie Sweetleaf. James H. Mike from Pittsburgh. A-Def as well as J-Def. So you can hear different noises in the background, can't you? You hear like when a loud-ass car goes by. You might even be able to hear some faint bird chirping. It's a different background noise in my indoor studio. This studio is quasi-outdoor. There is a garage door, but let's put it this way. The garage door is shut right now, and you can see a rectangle of light. Let's put it that way. It's not airtight. We got Joe from New York. Brandon Nintendo. Frank. Mac and Scott from Nashville. We got Eric B. And we got Rory in the UK. Okay, first let's start off with a little letter from Tommy from Jacksonville. I don't remember, since this was like 2 weeks ago when I put this together, I don't even remember what these fucking things are about. Hey, Wax, hope all is good. Excited that you're going on tour with Mac. Hopefully you guys come to Jacksonville. My question, since I just found out you were on Epic Rap Battles of History as Quentin Tarantino and were a guest on Snoop Dogg's interview web show, GGN, any chance we'll see you anything else anytime soon? Your chain reaction videos make me think you'd be a great guest on Hot Ones. And of course, everyone wants to listen to you on Joe Rogan's podcast. Also, I've recently been playing the new South Park game and hit me about a week ago that my guy kind of looks like you, LOL. If you or any of your fans are big gamers or South Park fans or enjoy funny shit, I recommend the game big time. Be safe out there. Tommy from Jacksonville. My only, every once in a while when I write these things down, I write a note. Like a note to remember when I read this on the podcast. And this note is just the South Park thing that he sent. Tommy from Jacksonville sent a picture of his South Park character that he said looks like me. My note was, it looks nothing like me. I can't remember what it looks like, Tommy. But I do know via my note that at that time when I opened that email, I thought it looked nothing like me. So what are the questions on this? I doubt that I'll be a guest on any of those things that you mentioned. The way that my career works is just, I mean, I was on the Snoop Dogg thing, so, and I actually know the guys that do Epic Rap Battles of History. I know those guys pretty well, Lloyd and Pete. So I definitely could end up being on that thing again. That's a possibility for sure. I've done some writing on that show. Good people over there. Those guys are awesome. I doubt I'd do Snoop Dogg's show again. If anything, since that time, my like quote unquote fame has gone down. The Hot Ones, that's where the guy serves people the hot wings. I've watched a couple episodes of that. I don't think I'm that or Joe Rogan. I'd have to have like something blow up or something for me to be on those things. So I wouldn't hold my breath to have old Wax on either one of those things. I can't. After doing 1,000,000 episodes of the show Hot Ones, where you tell people to eat wings that are really hot, I got that guy that does that show has got to be like, in his head, he's got to be like, okay, I get it. The wings are hot. See, these ones are spicy, and when you eat it, you're gonna feel like they're spicy. I know because I've done 200 episodes of these, and everybody reacted the same way. It's gonna be spicy. Then again, I have only seen a couple episodes of that show. But yeah, I'd love to be on some of that stuff, man. I've heard a lot of episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast. They talk about some interesting shit on there. But yeah, I'd have to have something blow up in order for me to be on there. We'll see. We shall see. Speaking of things hopefully blowing up, today's Wednesday, whatever date it is. Whatever date it is. Well, if it was the 4th and the 11th, it's 4th, 5th, it's like the 7th or 8th today. But on the 11th of February, one of my best friends, Todd Rex, he's been on the podcast many times. Comedian T-Rex is shooting a 1-hour comedy special. He's never done this before, y'all. He's older than me. He's been doing comedy since the 90s, professionally. He's put out albums. He's done 1,000,000 shows. He's toured with celebs. He was just on Bill Burr's podcast last week. He was the guest on the Monday morning podcast with Bill Burr. Him and Bill Burr go way back. And he's shooting a special on February 11th. If you're in the LA area, even if you're not, and you want to see something cool, there's 2 tapings, one at 7:30, one at 9:30 at the Satellite. If you go to my Twitter or his Twitter, I think his is Todd Rex, TODDREXX. Or mine at Big Wax, or my Facebook, or my Instagram. All this shit, you can find the link to where you can get tickets to Todd Rex's special. And I hope he kills it, and I hope it gets on at Netflix or whatever, or whatever you sell specials to. Hopefully Netflix, I guess. And I hope he gets some fucking fame and notoriety out of it, so he can start really, really doing some cool shit. You know, I don't know. Rather than featuring for these people, be his own, have people feature for him. I'd love to see him on Joe Rogan's podcast. That would be the shit. If T-Rex could, like, once the special starts to come out, if he gets on that level where he's doing those kind of shows, Hot Ones and Joe Rogan's podcast, shit like that. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Until then, all I can do is tell you that you should go. If you know anybody in LA, tell them to go. We're trying to get the shit to be packed. I mean, it'll be packed anyway, but you know, if it gets to like the day before and there's not all the tickets, it's not sold out, you might have to like really go. We might, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's sold out already. I have no fucking idea. Anyway, thanks, Tommy. All right. Yo, Wax, it's Lamar from North Carolina. Love the podcast recently. If only every month was January and you went this hard. Anyway, I had a few questions and a piece of unrelated advice that I thought I would get your opinion on. First, the questions. Let's just do this one at a time. Now, question 1 from Lamar from North Carolina. Why don't you release individual singles of songs that didn't fit albums? You mentioned you wrote a song about a girl on her phone that you said might not fit the next album. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a really light song. It's a very short and very just like arpeggio on an acoustic guitar song. I don't know that you're going to miss it. I did play it at my show. If you ever come to my show that I do every month, I played that song at my show this past time. It's more for a live performance real quick. But I don't have any justified reason for that. Laziness, maybe. I like to try to put out only like the quality, whatever, but I've talked about on this podcast many times putting out a project for Spotify that's kind of like just like an unreleased recordings project. I was thinking about making it called Anus. All new unreleased shit. Anus. But it wouldn't really make sense if it was all new, unreleased, because people think it was new, like I just did it. But the reality would be it would be old. It'd be more like ours. All old, unreleased shit. All right, how many unreleased finished songs do you have that just won't be released ever? I don't know. Not like that many. The purpose of me doing that album would be actually be less, because I wouldn't, if I didn't want to release something because I didn't think it was good, I just would never release it or even finish it. A lot of this shit, like people talk about how many songs artists recorded for an album, like blah blah blah, or recorded 70 songs for his 10-song album. What they don't tell you is like 30 of them they didn't really finish. They didn't quite finish because they sucked. I'm not at that number. People that are more like, people that are less like pop stars and more like just people that make music that are kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, like people that make the music less to have it appeal to a lot of people tend to have more of a ratio of like, that's cool. They have more of a ratio where they don't, if you're a pop songwriter just trying to make hits, 1 out of every 100 song you write will be a hit. If you're just trying to make cool music and you're more likely of just making a cool song that you like. Because I don't know. But I was going to say the main purpose of that other album was actually going to be less for the unreleased songs I have and more for like, more of a way of putting on Spotify stuff that I only have on YouTube, for example. Like the Zug Cypher or something like that. The only way you can listen to it is to watch it on YouTube. Can't listen to it on Spotify. And, not only am I've been hit up so many times about that particular song, like why isn't this on Spotify? And my only answer is because I'm lazy and because I'm leaving money on the table. Why would I do that? Why would anybody do that? Doesn't make sense. And 3, do you think it's weird that people ask for your advice on things just because we like your music and podcasts? Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, that's kind of the purpose of a podcast. I think that if people ask for my advice with things that are serious, well, they ask for advice like about music stuff. It makes sense because I guess one could say that I'm an expert. Some people would say I'm not. Some would say I am. But there's some, I might be able to offer some kind of fucking insight. But when people ask for relationship advice and shit, I really just want to be like, I'm not the guy to ask. And I think I've said that. Before. But I think honestly, like asking for advice is less for real advice and more for entertainment value. More for just like the podcast entertainment value itself. All right, that's it for the questions. Now the advice I need help with. I'll try to keep it short. This is still from Lamar from North Carolina. I'm a junior in college and there's this girl I was getting super close to and we were talking all the time and basically dating without ever saying it. But this semester she's doing a semester at sea where they stop and visit other countries for 3 months, so now we can't talk or text. We can only email like we're living in fucking 1998. At first it was all good, and we emailed frequently and kept talking like normal, but now she only responds once a week or so and says it's because she's busy with homework and because of the time zone differences between us. But I see when she gets Wi-Fi in these other countries. She's updating all of her social media, but still not hitting me back. So my question is, what should I do? Move on? Keep trying to hit her up? Accept that she's busy and not sweat it? I figure that I'm probably overthinking this, but I can't decide on what to do because I'm not trying to be that super desperate guy trying to get the girl's attention. Well, it sounds to me like it's pretty simple. First of all, you start off by saying, we're basically dating without ever saying it. I think that you should analyze that sentence to start off the whole thing. You never said it. Does that mean that maybe you thought it was more than she thought it was? You know what I mean? If it was never said, then maybe you kind of thought it was more than her. I don't know. But, at this college age, especially when somebody's away for 3 months, it's kind of weird. At sea, maybe you guys are in the military or something? I don't know. But 3 months away at sea where she's doing all this crazy shit, she might just be busy, man. She might just be doing a lot of different things. And when she updates her social media, that's almost like hitting back everybody. She might have other people in her family, other friends, emailing her too. And instead of emailing everybody back, she's like, well, if I just tell everybody on my status that I'm in Hong Kong, everybody will know. If she is in Hong Kong, she'd probably rather be exploring Hong Kong than answering a bunch of emails. Now, whether that's a sign that she does or doesn't like you, I don't know. But it sounds like you like her, for sure, because you wouldn't be worried about it and emailing me about it and writing about it and thinking about it if you didn't. But I think you're, especially considering like she's far away, I think you're better off trying to put your energy into other things. Don't get too caught up. Try to think about other things. Maybe even try to think about different girls. Because there's nothing you can do if she's gone. Put the ball in her court. Let her decide. And if you like just don't email her and then she never emails you, I mean that's a sign, Next time she emails you, maybe just don't hit her back. And if it just like goes for weeks and she's just like, oh, whatever, then maybe she doesn't give a shit as much as you hope. I don't know. Also, you could just not listen to anything that I say. Anyway, next question. This one's from Daner. Wax, what's up? I've been enjoying your podcast lately. Seems like you've really lightened up since the end of last year. I have lightened up. I've been feeling great, actually. I know I was complaining at the beginning of this episode about how much shit I have to do, but as far as like that underlying feeling that you have of whether you're happy or sad, I've been feeling really happy. You may remember me as the broad doing BWDB, bitches who drink beer. Well, I somewhat put that shit on pause. You said ish on pause. It's funny. It's so weird in today's just what, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but right now I feel weird saying broad and bitches. And Dana don't. The word broad and bitch referring to women is tough now. It's tough. But it is interesting. We live in this weird paradigm where all the hottest songs on the radio and the President of the United States are extremely misogynistic, degrading to women. Fucking hoes and feeling like a rock star. Shit like that. But then there's this other mainstream thing where that stuff's totally unacceptable. I don't know. Anyway, Dana says, I decided to go sober for a while. Not really sure how long. But right now I'm thinking 100 days, but who fucking knows? If Bert Kreischer can go 30 days, I think I can go longer. If Bill Burr can be sober for a long time, why shouldn't I be able? By the way, I've never gone sober. I've been drinking since I was a teen. Now I'm 29 and decided maybe I should get my life together a little. I relate to you a lot, Dana. I think me and you are very similar. I'm not sure why I'm writing this email. Maybe an update on BWDB. Maybe to give you praise. Maybe to tell you my struggle and how much you helped me through the tough times. Oh, that's really nice. I discovered you right around when Two Wheels came out because I related at the time. I had just gotten a DUI, DWI, whatever the fuck it's called, and ever since I've always related to your music, and the more life goes on, the more I realize you are everything I have tried to become in life. I didn't write that. This is very praise-filled. I hate having a day job, and I'd say I'm pretty creative, but not as successful or just haven't found my craft. I'm a graphic designer / photographer and do that as a day job, but rather be working on my own and taking projects I actually enjoy. I love music but can't make my own. I can play the ukulele and sing / rap covers, but that's about it. I enjoy rapping ya bars, ukulele style. I love stand-up and comedy and currently thinking of taking comedy classes. I've done a few stand-up sets the past couple of years as a drunkard and pretty unprepared. Now I want to take it more seriously and learn how to write a real fucking joke or just some funny shit. Dude, I would love to see your stand-up. As you may or may not know, I started BWDB inspired by your chain reaction. I think I have a lot of great ideas, but never successfully execute them. Anyway, enough of my sob story. I just wanted to let you know, I wish I had your motivation. How the fuck do you do it? I tend to start something and then quit. Now I'm starting to realize maybe alcohol was playing a big factor. By the way, We Can't All Be Heroes gets me through my day-to-day. Well, I hope I see you on this upcoming tour. You know, if you're coming through Phoenix. If not, I'll catch you in Denver. Sorry for the long ramble. Keep being badass as fuck. Cheers with no beers, or maybe to the pilot, Dana. Well, that was very nice, Dana. I appreciate it. I think the reason I decided to read this mainly is because I just really relate to most of the things you're saying on this. I don't know. I think that the only reason I have motivation is because I have good parents, dude. I don't know if you do or don't, but my parents just, I think, somehow put it into me that you have to work. You got to work. I don't know. I have a work ethic built into me from my childhood somehow. You got to work. Can't be a bum. I don't know. But I'm still lazy, inherently. I'm inherently lazy. I want to work on stuff that I want to work on. By the way, I am going to be in Phoenix. I think we're doing the same place I did at the last tour, Pub Rock or something like that. Club Rock? It's either Club Red or Pub Rock. Those are the two Phoenix places I played the last two times. Club Red and Pub Rock. One of them. And we're definitely doing a show in Denver as well. So either one of those, Dana. I should be able to announce these dates really soon, these tour dates. I'm not sure, like within the next week for sure. We should already have them so people can start buying their tickets and shit. But we're doing a bunch of places, man. There's a couple places we're not doing, unfortunately, that I'm a little sad about. Specifically Seattle, because of a contractual thing with Mac and a show he just did or is going to do soon or something. Like a lot of times contracts will stipulate. Like say I had a show in Denver, and then a month later I had a show in Denver. The people are gonna be like, "What the fuck? Like you can't do two shows in that amount of time. You got to consolidate all the people that would come to one of these shows." Because of that, we can't do a show in Seattle, which is one of my favorite places to play. But I think we are doing Spokane. I think we're gonna do somewhere kind of nearby. We're doing a bunch of shows, man. We're doing I think we got 3 shows in the Dakotas. You know, we're doing a lot of smaller places too. But we're definitely doing Chicago, Boston, and we're still booking up to Florida. We're definitely doing Austin and Dallas. I think is booked now in Texas. A bunch of California places. For some fucking reason, San Diego is hard. I don't know why we can't get a goddamn show in San Diego. But I don't know. We'll keep going, man. We'll keep trying, you know. But yeah, I think it's wise for you to try this sobriety thing, Dana. I think that if you're you're almost 30, you've been drinking since you're a teenager. No matter what it is that you do with your life, especially once you get older, you're kind of like, well, why don't I just try that? You know, last year I tried being a vegan. This year, I don't even know if I mentioned on the podcast, I'm doing a low-carb diet, trying to lose the fucking beer gut I gained in the holiday season. And it's actually going pretty well. I think I've lost some fucking fat on my stomach. And I just like trying new shit like that just because, just because you lived your life one way doesn't mean that's the way you always have to live your life. And granted, it's really hard because things are addictive. But, it's amazing, man. You talk to some people. Dude, Donald Trump's never had a drink in his life. Motherfucker owned a wine company and a vodka company and shit. He never had a drink in his life. There's a couple people like that that I've heard talking that say they've never drank alcohol. And we think it's hard to go for 30 days without it. Just some people just don't ever. They've never been drunk in their life. It's just really interesting. I think it's kind of a mistake. You only live one time. You ain't going to try some shit. I have my own opinions about these kind of things. I mean, I know alcohol can be evil. We'd probably be a better place if we didn't have it. But there's other things. You want to tell me that alcohol is evil? I'll tell you that there's certain people that have never done alcohol, such as Trump and Hitler. They could maybe be better off if they had done some drugs. Maybe not alcohol. Alcohol is probably the wrong one. But you're telling me if Hitler hadn't smoked weed and done some hallucinogens when he was in his 20s, he might not thought a little differently about the world? I personally think some of this shit, like, we talk about whether drugs should be illegal. I think some of them shit should be mandatory. I think there's a reason that some of these tribes and whatnot, when they have their version of a quinceañera bar mitzvah, which they would call like a vision quest, you're 14 or 15, you roll out in the woods with a shaman and eat a bunch of peyote. There's a reason they do that. Because they see it like the peyote, the shaman, the ayahuasca, the mescaline, whatever the fuck they're eating. It's showing you some truth. It's showing you something true about the world. It's showing you something larger than the bullshit that we see. And I think that some of the hallucinogenic drugs we have available could help people. And I know people that it's helped. Just in their own life, using it recreationally for the first time. I can think of 3 people right now that benefited positively from hallucinogenic drugs. And I think just something as simple as marijuana could chill some angry people out, It's not even I think, I know. I know that it could. But that's not the rap it gets. It is kind of weird to me that, like, in old school hip hop and even like old school gangster movies, especially like hood movies, like how people will get high and then go shoot people. That's strange to me. That never quite made sense to me. Like that was always a weird dichotomy of the group Cypress Hill. Like if you listen to old Cypress Hill, you might not remember how fucking violent it was. Like they were always getting their AK. Every song they were getting their AK and smoking weed. And to me, those two things are so different from each other. Like the want to commit violence and the want to get high on weed. I don't know. I can see drinking a 40 and then going and killing somebody, but smoking weed and then getting your AK and going to do a drive-by, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's not the same, but I didn't grow up like that. I don't know. I think when you live in an environment where you're faced with potential death every day, and it's just a part of your life. A lot of people you meet that are growing up in situations where you don't know if you're going to fucking see tomorrow. They're more likely to live life in the moment. Maybe weed puts you in the moment. Maybe in that moment, you got to smoke somebody. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But Dana, I do appreciate your email. And I think that, where am I at? Like 52 minutes? I don't think I need to ramble for another 8. I think I'm just going to call it a day and call it Wax's Podcast and tell all you motherfuckers to be safe out there.